Hey everyone, in today's video I'm going to sketch this. This is the Church of Saint Nicolas in Amsterdam. If you want to follow along with this tutorial, you can download the reference photo from the video description below. Now I have actually sketched this on location while I was in Amsterdam for the Urban Sketcher Symposium. So this was the sketch that I drew on location. So I drew it from the side and I'm able to see the front and also the side. So this angle is actually more dynamic compared to this reference photo that I have, which is actually from the front view, which is not as exciting because we cannot see the side of the building, we cannot see the form of the building. But I don't have any other better photos, so let's try this. I'm going to go straight with ink. I'm going to place the bottom of the church here and the top of the church, the rectangular part will be around here, so I can just join the line like this. Now there are three parts to the church, so this part here it's more narrow, the center part is a bit wider, and then we have more narrow. So to draw this, we need to make sure that this is a very tall rectangle. This, and there is some side to it, so we can see a bit of the side, and then it comes down all the way to this point here. So now I can see this part is divided into three sections, 1, 2, and 3. This part here will go to the side. This is wider compared to this, and we can repeat this structure here again. And we can see a bit of the side here as well. And it stops around here. Now that we have the top, we can add some details to it. I'm going to extend it slightly to add those details, and extend it slightly again to draw the top, the roof structure. So I'm going to try and follow the angles, follow the shape as much as possible. This part seems round, and then like this, and it comes down like this. I've also went ahead to draw the other part. So now we can draw this dome that is behind. The dome will start around here. I'm going to turn my fountain pen to the other side to draw the dome with a lighter line, with a thinner line. Because the dome is in the background, I want to draw it with a thinner line. And I have to draw a bit more slowly because the ink doesn't flow as well when the fountain pen is on the back. The nib is on the back. So the dome will be like this. So when drawing, I'm really observing the dome structure. I'm spending a lot of time looking at the dome structure. And this is the top. I'm going to draw this part here first because I'm using this part to align this part here, and then draw it down like this. This will curve to the back and the top, and then we have the cross there. There are some details in the background like windows, but a bit difficult for me to see. So if I'm drawing this on location, it will be quite difficult for me to see the details, especially on such a cloudy day. But with the reference photo, I can zoom in to take a look, and I can draw the details here as well. So for details that are on the surface of a wall or on the surface of a flat surface, I am not going to be using thicker lines. I will be using thinner lines to draw those. For elements that change the form of the building, like whenever the surface turns a direction, I will be using thicker lines. So here we have the door. There are 3 doorways here. This doorway on the right side, this door is slightly covered. Alright, so it doesn't show you the whole door. And this is the door that you can see in whole. And we can draw this circular thing here, which I'm going to draw with my thin line. I'm going to draw this part here first. There seems to be a semicircular thing going on. And then let's draw all the way up. It goes all the way up and then turns here. There's a gap here. And then down here. So there's a gap here as well. And this is the circular design within. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 windows here. So you see my lines, they are very thin. So for this, I'm not sure what this is. Looks like some stained window. Now the main shape of the cathedral or the church is already drawn, so now I can just fill in the details within the shapes very easily. So this window here, it's a physical, the form of the window actually changes. It's a very dimensional window, so I'm using thicker lines. By the way, if you want to check out more tutorials like this, you can visit my YouTube playlist of tutorials. I have the link in the video description below. There are probably close to 100 over tutorials, free tutorials on that playlist. And if you want to support my channel, you can consider supporting me on Patreon, where you can have access to even more detailed sketching and watercolor tutorials. I'll put all the links in the video description below. Patreon is a monthly subscription service where you can pledge a certain dollar amount to help out the artist, to support the artist that you like. And on my Patreon page, you have access to the tutorials and you can also find out what I'm up to. There are a lot of people in front, but I'm just going to represent those people with vertical lines like this. Alright, because they are so far away. For these people, it's important to get the proportion right, so they are quite small compared to the size of the door. And also there are some vehicles as well. So I'm going to draw one vehicle here. This vehicle, it's also quite small. So I'm going to draw it here. For small elements like this, maybe you want to turn the fountain pen around to get a thinner lines. There's another car here. Alright, so this part I would say it's complete. Now I can draw the buildings on the side. So for this building on the side, the building is quite narrow, about the width is smaller compared to this part of the cathedral, the church. And the top of the rectangle will start here, aligned with the windows here. So it's going to be like this, and then comes down like this. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 stories. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Those are the doors on the ground. We have a window here. So drawing all these details, it's going to take some time. And these houses here, they are almost equal in width, so it's very easy to gauge the proportion. So each time you draw, you just have to compare it to the building on the side. I will draw the main shapes first and then fill in the windows later on. So for this building here, it looks like it's 2.5 times or 3 times the width of this building. And we have another very narrow building here. And one building here that shows you the side of the wall, and it's going to go down like this. This angle is actually more gentle, but doesn't really matter here. And this is the red rooftop. On the right side here, this building, the width of this building is the same as the center part of the church, as the middle part of the church. So we have to have this a bit wider. For the right side, I'm going to deviate slightly away from the photo reference. So here I'm going to draw some umbrellas. I'm going to draw them much higher. In the photo you'll see those umbrellas, they are quite low, but here I want to draw them higher and I want to draw them bigger. The reason for this is actually to create the foreground and background effect. So when we have some elements in the foreground, like this, it looks a bit more interesting. And I also want to draw a flag here. So I want to have the flag behind these umbrellas. And we'll go all the way up here. Okay, this is the flag. And now I can continue drawing the houses. These windows are in white, so I shall stop drawing with black ink. Later on I can draw with my white gel pen. There is a bus parked here, and the height of the bus it's not as tall compared to the door. It's actually lower than the door. So when drawing, that's something to remember, to take note of. And the windows for the bus, it's about 1/3 of the bus. Let's draw the line for the building here, and this church is actually in front of the waterfront. So there are some steps here, and this is the waterfront. There's a boat here, and on the boat there are a lot of people. So let's draw those people there. And this boat seems to have some sort of banner going on. And this is the line that separates the water from the ground. There's another boat here. We don't have to complete the boat. There are some people sitting on the steps. For the steps, it's good to draw them with thin lines. So I'm going to draw the steps like this, and have some people sitting on the steps. Some railings here. Okay, so this sketch it's almost done. I just need to fill in the details. So this is the completed sketch. This sketchbook, by the way, it's A5 size, so When drawing on such a small piece of paper, I am not able to draw a lot of details, especially when using a fountain pen that has a thick line. So if you want to add more details, you should use a fountain pen with thinner lines. Here's a closer look at the details. Notice the mix of thick and thin lines. And we have these foreground elements that overlap the middle ground. And those are the small houses compared to the church. So this is the overall look. In the second part of the tutorial, I will be coloring this with a limited color palette. So watch out for that video when it comes out.